Running a business is a tough thing, and you're like involved in that while also trying to be the best mom you can be. And sometimes you don't take time to like sit with your emotions.
Welcome back to Duo on Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo on Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips. Welcome back to the Duo on Air podcast. This is episode number 135, and it's been quite a while since we've done a little introduction episode, all the way back to episode number 2, actually. That was the last time we kind of talked about the duo behind Duo Collective. And we also know how much you guys love a little peek into our lives. So you get little sprinkles in episodes here and there of what's going on, but we kind of thought we'd just break it all down, talk about what's going on.
Buckle up, you're going to be our therapist right now.
And if anyone cries, take bets now. Let's wait and see what happens. I don't know. We'll see.
Man. I love it.
So,
episode 2.
Episode 2. We should have listened to that episode first to see what changed in our life, because a lot would have changed. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. I can go first, I suppose.
I think Abby has a lot more going on right now than I do.
Yeah, a little bit of a shit show, but it's fine. Yeah, so I don't know. A lot's changed in my world in the past couple years, but right now I have a 4 and a 5-year-old. And my husband just bought a new business. So we are officially 2 small business owners.
Which makes all 4 of us small business owners.
So our taxes are a nightmare. And yeah, and my husband is also in a business partnership too. So,
which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool. Teach him all the things.
I know. He's like, yeah, sometimes you can tell he's really listening, and other times he's like, whatever, we're different. It's 2 dudes running a partnership versus 2 females. I think their dynamics a little different than ours, but it's fine. So yeah, this year come like right now in the fall time, my life is different for the first time ever. So I have always, ever since I quit Duo, so I quit Duo 5 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. So no, 4 years ago, because Remy, not Cal. Oh, so yes. I had my second, they're 18 months apart. So I had my second, and then I had that maternity leave at my agency, and I quit upon coming back. So that was like my first year on Duo, and Court was still working at the agency. So I worked from home with my littles, and obviously we had less clients and less work at the time. So it was really nice. We hadn't paid ourselves yet, really. We did pay ourselves starting then, but like before that we didn't. So we had a healthy like savings account to start consistently paying us, which was really nice. Like obviously starting really low, but that was really nice. So yeah, I have always worked with my kids, and the evolution of that throughout the last 5 years has been kind of insane. I'd say it's not that any one of them has been easier or harder. I think maybe I'd say like the younger years were easier because I got a break with naps, whereas right now there is no break, like 0. So if they are not getting along one day, it's just a nightmare. But it's just been pockets. It's been family. It's been, now that my husband owns his own business, he takes the boys some days too. So it's really just not been consistent. And if anyone knows me, I thrive on consistency, and
her schedule's been anything but. The past 5 years, I can't even tell. Like, I don't know what days or
Yeah.
It's
insane.
Which it's fine and it's worked for her, and that's the beauty of having your own thing. But her schedule has been very
I have to remind myself very often, like, this is what I wanted. Like, I quit my job to have this fluidity and like be able to coexist working and momming. And I think sometimes I like hit a point maybe like a year ago where I was like, this is hard. Like, I can't do both. And I think it's really hard to say that. Like, I think a lot of us struggle with that is like being able to say, like, I can't do both. Because we want to do it all. Like, it's just like in our DNA that we want to do it all. And we want to do it all good.
That we can do it all.
Or that we have to.
Yeah. And so when you can't, or when you feel like you can't, and then you just feel like you're kind of failing or whatever. But you're not. It's a lot.
It is. It's a lot. So it's been, I think there's a whole episode in there about evolution of childcare and what's worked for me and working and having my boys. But this fall is the first time ever where my boys will be going to school from 8 to 3. And I will have 8 to 3 Monday to Friday to work.
And I'm so excited for her. I kind of want to throw
terrified.
I kind of want to throw like the very first day she has like an 8 to 3 party.
Right.
What could a day look like?
We're not going to work at all this day. Which also are things where I think I'm most excited for the fact that like I don't have to work from 8 to 3. Like I think what I have been doing for so long with Duo is that every second I have childcare help, I can't not work. I have to work every second because it's so special that I have that uninterrupted moment. So then I just feel guilty if I'm doing anything but that. And so I think it'll be really nice to actually be able to say, like, I can go do a workout. I can go run to the store. I can go, like, I've never been able to, like, do that guilt-free. So I think it will be very nice and different. So that is,
I can tell her from experience. It is very nice,
right? I know that'll be
making
the
a midday
biggest
Target
shift.
run without a child. Mind blowing.
Yeah, it could be dangerous for the wallet, but just being able to get in the car and go somewhere without having to deal with the bags and the stuff and the people. But yeah, it's been. I think it's like bittersweet right now. I'm definitely like really excited for a little bit of like being able to like do my own thing, but I also feel like I think everyone feels like, I don't know, the guilt of like, did I do enough in those 5 years? Like, did I spend enough? Oh, see, this is where I could cry.
Don't cry. I think what you need to do.
Who made bets on this?
I think what you need to do is change your mindset on it. It's your mindset that's getting in the way. I think. Like, I look at what you've done with your boys and the way that I was raised and grew up. And my mom she had an in-home daycare for a while, but that was when I was a little bit older. But when we were younger, she worked at a factory job. So, and I had a good upbringing. But when I think of your situation versus like mine growing up, your boys, even on the hardest days, will grow up and say someday, I got to hang out with my mom when I was little, like, and they'll talk about all these memories that you've made. So I know that it's always going to be bittersweet, right? And you're always going to maybe question, did I do enough? But you have done more than probably even your upbringing, right? Or my upbringing, or, you did the best you could with what you had, and they got to spend that time with you. Whether or not you did more or less, your boys are never going to look back and be like, wow, she could have done more in those 5 years. Like, they're never going to say that. They're going to be like, those 5 years were so fun because we made all of these memories and I got to see my mom a lot. Yeah.
Hopefully that's how they feel. And also then part of me is like, they're not going to remember all of it.
They won't remember all of it. Do you remember 1 through 5?
Yeah. But motherhood is a trip. Like, oh my gosh. So I'd say there's a lot of mixed emotions happening, but it's also like, it'll be nice. Our world is chaos with my husband just starting the business. So my husband bought a brewery in Minneapolis, and his business partner is the brewer. So my husband came from tech, so in a startup. So it's like how he's evolved. He actually started out of college as a teacher. So he's evolved a lot and just kind of like transitioned with wherever the opportunities have taken him and what he likes to do, which is awesome. So he's kind of running everything from like the business side of needing to run a brewery and scheduling and all of that. And Alex runs everything with the beer and creating the stuff you have to sell. So they have a really good partnership. It's just a lot of work, like a lot of work. And it's so interesting. I've told Courtney before, I'm like, I think my marketing brain is broken because it's such a different business that it's not like marketing our business. It's a physical location and foot traffic is what they need. Mm-hmm. And so it's very different. But the one thing that I think is pretty awesome is that they have already gotten people who have come in where they're like, yeah, I just found you by searching breweries near me, or I just found you on Google, or whatever that may be. And I'm like, that's because no one in the brewery industry, at least not locally, has focused on SEO. And that obviously we're not going to put a website out in the world that doesn't focus on SEO. So I'm like, yeah, that's, maybe a new niche.
And so anytime that people say that, Abby looks at Glenn and she's like, you're welcome.
Yeah, right? He's like, yeah, that's kind of working. I'm like, yes, of course it is.
It does work. Yeah.
I know. So yeah, that's, I don't know. Is that my life in a nutshell right now?
I think that's your life.
I'm sure we should talk about personal hobbies and things later, but how about I take a break?
Oh man, my life right now. Yeah, it's not so much chaos from like new business stuff because my husband, you've probably heard on past episodes, but my husband has his own business too. He actually quit his corporate full-time job in 2020. Hello, pandemic.
Before you.
Yeah. And so that was a little bit of a scary time, but I mean, we're 5 years into it now, or almost 5 years into it. And his business is doing really great too. And he's got goals to grow it a little bit differently in the future. So that's exciting.
And what does he do?
Oh, yes. If you haven't paid attention, he is a new home designer. So works with a bunch of contractors around town and, does new home designs for them, but he's also got his own thing. So it's kind of unique. He, dabbles with these other home builders and like does their new home designs, but then he also has his own entity where he does new home designs too. So it's a matter of if like somebody comes to one of the contractors and wants to go through them, they'll work with him, or if somebody just organically finds him or is referred to him, they can go directly through him too. So it's kind of unique. It's a good setup that he's got right now, but I think in the future he wants to end up being his own builder. So, but that comes with a lot of legality. And that's, I think the scariest part about it is that he, at the end of the day, is the name tied to that home and it being structurally sound and making sure that everything is right and good. And so that's the scary thing about his business versus ours. He's like, yeah, he's going to need people. He's going to need trades. He's going to have, and he's got all those contacts and that's great. But he literally has to worry about, houses being structurally sound where we don't have to worry about those things. Yeah. So that's exciting. But other than that, I think the biggest thing in my world is just continually learning how to be a mom. It's a
never
big job. It's a very big job. And so grateful, so grateful for it. And it took a while to get here, but we're here now. And I think it's just a matter of kind of figuring, I'm sure you're always trying to figure it out, right? I'm guessing from a mom to a mom. Always. And things are always changing. But I think the biggest thing is just like kind of getting into that quote unquote routine. And I don't even know if that's a thing as a mom, but
if you've learned anything about my routines throughout the last 5 years,
it's not a thing. Don't get too excited about that dream. But yeah, it's been really fun. Just all the different phases. She is 15 or going on 15 months now. She is a really fun age. I know a lot of people are like, enjoy the newborn phase. It goes so quick, which it did. And I loved it. But I think it just keeps getting better and better because she's a little human now. Like she's waddling around and she looks like a little drunk person walking and, she's slowly starting to run now and she's learning all sorts of words. And I just taught her recently to show that she's 1. So you ask her, Mila, how old are you? And she'll hold up her pointer finger and she'll tell you that she's 1. So it's just really exciting and rewarding to see all of those things with your kids. And it was just a whole new world for us. And it's amazing. It really is. But it is a full-time job. And the fact that Abby was able to work while having kids at home blows my mind because I could not. But also, my child doesn't take naps. So there's that.
Yeah.
She's not a great napper. She's like, 20 minutes, I'm good, thanks. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I can barely go to the bathroom in 20 minutes. Like, you're already up. What is going on? So it just would not work in our household because I would not get any sort of anything done until she goes down at night. So, but I think, yeah, I've never been more exhausted in my entire life. And it's not that she's an awful sleeper. She's a pretty good sleeper at night, but it's just tiring, even if they are good sleepers. And I used to be a night owl. I used to be that girl that Abby was like a get up at the ass crack of dawn and have my coffee and do my motivational things and write my goals down and read a book. And I don't know if I don't think she does that anymore.
I told Courtney I miss that girl. I miss her. I don't know where she is, and I'm trying to find her again.
You'll find her in the fall.
I'll find her. I'll find her. She's there
somewhere. I was never that girl, and I was always the
I think you're up earlier than me now.
Yeah, yeah, I was getting there. I go to bed at like anywhere from like 8:30 to 10:30. That's kind of my range. Like I'm usually in bed by at least 9. It maybe still awake, but in bed by 9. That was like never a thing.
I think we need to update our about me.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's so much that changed about me. So I do not stay up late anymore. I do not have that juice. And my daughter, I don't set an alarm anymore, which is also very weird, like not waking up to an alarm, because my daughter is like an alarm and she's up at least by 6:45 every morning. So I'm like, I don't need to set an alarm because she's going to wake me up. So it's very weird how things like that in your life change. Like I used to depend on an alarm, or I used to sleep in until like 8:30 and Abby's already 4 hours into the day. But she'd go to bed at a decent time and I'd stay up until 1 and I'd be shooting off emails and finishing projects. And like, that is not a reality that I think will ever be again. And now I'm I woke up at 5:45 this morning and started working. Who am I? That's just not what my world used to be.
It is crazy.
It really changes after you have a kid. And it's good. It's good. It's just a huge adjustment. And I think, it's so weird to think too that I'm still quote unquote probably considered postpartum, because I think we're in a culture where it's like you have to bounce back, right? Like you got to bounce back 6 weeks, you're good to go. And it's like, okay, first of all, that's bullshit. And second of all, like I think sometimes I forget that like it's okay. Running a business is a tough thing, and you're like really involved in that while also trying to be the best mom you can be. And sometimes you don't take time to like sit with your emotions and your body physically where you are. And I don't think I've really had a lot of that. And sometimes when I'm like grinding or going or like feel like I need a break, but I can't take a break, I have to remind myself like you're in a really vulnerable phase right now. And it's okay to take a minute, like just take a second. And everybody should do that, right?
Yeah.
But I forget that I'm still kind of technically postpartum. And now we're thinking about trying again. So I'm just going to throw my body and my life back into this. And it's just like, it's very, just wrapping my head around all of it it's just a lot. It's a lot to think about.
It is. Yeah. It is. I think it's like, what's the craziest thing is I think when we first started our business, we probably thought too, like we'll be in the same season of life.
Oh,
like
we are not even close.
Which I mean, kind of in the same season, kind of not, because like, I don't know, whatever. I had little babies right when we started. So, but I think it's just hard to plan for anything. And we've had to realize that within our business too, of like that whole thought of like where we expect ourselves to be rather than just like being appreciative of where we are in both life and business. Like, I don't know, it's been crazy. And I think 5 years.
Yeah. Like if you've listened to past episodes, like you've heard that it was a little bit of a rough journey for Justin and I, and that was something you just don't expect to have to deal with. Like life happens, right? But some of those bigger things, you don't expect that that's going to happen to you, and that you also have to deal with that while running a business and showing up for that business. And that was hard for Abby too, because she was trying to be supportive, but also still trying to run this business. But it's just, it has been a huge thing that we just weren't expecting, and nobody expects it to happen, right? And you just have to figure out how to get through those stages.
Yeah.
And I think it was equally tough on both of us for different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we're just trying to figure out how to manage it as they continue to grow.
I know, right? For all the more changes that are going to happen for real. So when you're not working duo, what are you doing, Court?
Oh, geez. Trying to sleep. Just kidding.
Watching true crime.
Okay, huge true crime fan. Oh my gosh, if you have true crime shows, send them my way. I love them. So yeah, I'm a true crime junkie. Actually, fun fact, I thought about becoming a cop. Well, not a cop. I wanted to become like detective. Yeah, like I wanted to like solve the crime scenes and figure out who murdered who and why, blah blah blah. And then my husband, he was like, do you know, Courtney, like you can't just become a detective. There's like not detective school. He's like, you have to become a street cop first. And I was like, oh hell no. There's no way I can be a street cop. So I was like, well, there goes that dream. So anyways.
Well, you tried.
I did try. But I love true crime. I am a huge adult rec sports gal. So like signing up for volleyball league, kickball league. I've been on a broomball league. I wasn't a huge fan of that because ice and cold just no thanks. But any other sports, yeah, I'm pretty much a go for signing up for that. And then I love vacations, going on trips, planning trips. I think Abby and I have that in common. We really love to plan trips, and whether they're just with our husband or our whole families, it's fun. But I hate flying. Mm-hmm. Fun fact about me, I hate it.
And what did you tell me the other day about flying?
What did I say?
To get over your fear?
I was driving home and I drove past this tiny little airport. You know those planes that like are super unsafe, those little ones?
The ones that people die on all the time?
Yeah, they have flying lessons. And I told Abby, I'm like, maybe that's what I need to do to get over my fear is take flying lessons. And I think Abby was probably like, okay.
Please sure, do. Do it. I want to see. Because then maybe you'll feel safe on a big plane.
Yeah, maybe. Because those little rockety.
We're flying again in October. So, we'll...
To Arizona, which is like, I hate that flight because you go over the mountains and it's like, oh, for sure, turbulent city. So.
It'll be okay. Don't worry.
Okay, what about you? Outside of duo, what do you do?
I feel like I'll have more answers to this come end of the year because I'll have more time to discover myself, right? I feel like I don't know. That's the hardest part about motherhood is like you lose yourself in the things you have to do as a mother that
you forget what you like to do.
Yeah. And also I think I sometimes feel guilty because the things I like to do, like I'll be really interested to see in 3 years how you feel about rec sports. Like I loved playing volleyball. Well, but like I don't it's not much. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and maybe it's just because like I feel like lately I want to spend the time with quality people. I don't want to spend time with acquaintances anymore, which might sound shitty. But at the same time, like I really love creating deeper friendships with my friends. I'm not to say like I'm not trying to like ignore new friends. Like that stuff happens organically and like I love that. But I'm not out here just trying to like meet anyone and everyone and just sign up for things.
We just talked about that the other day. We much have less friends that are super meaningful relationships than a ton of friends that are just like quote unquote kind of acquaintances. Yeah. Like those meaningful, smaller.
It's hard enough to meet and get together with like the friends that you are really good friends with. So like why sprinkle in all this other stuff? Why not just like make more effort to like keep those relationships really awesome? So yeah, that's kind of I think how like the big thing for me lately is like I really want to like make more time. And we're in a season of life where it actually is really easy now for me to leave. Like I can leave for a extended period of time. I can leave for a night and not stress about bedtime. Like I can leave and not worry that he's going to be exhausted or vice versa. So we're in like a little bit easier of a phase of life because our kids are more independent. So that's really nice. And I'm trying to take more advantage of that. Like go on more like friend outings, go out to get wine more, like go out to do things.
And if she doesn't take advantage of that, I'll just bring my 1-year-old over and I'll be like, have her for a few days.
Remember, I know. So that's something as of lately. But otherwise, I'd say, like, I don't know. We bought a camper last year. That's still, like, one of my favorite things to do. We love going camping. That has been pretty hard this year because my husband bought a brewery. weekends tend to be that time, but hopefully we'll get in a few fall trips and kind of make that work as things get a little bit more stable there.
You love your garden.
Still love my garden. Yes. I still think, I don't know. There's still things where I'm like, I need to tweak things, but still love my garden. Still have my garden spreadsheet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Still have all that nerdy garden data. I want to get better at flowers.
See, I love the flowers. You love the food.
Yeah.
Justin's doing our food garden. I take care of the flower garden. That's my jam.
Mm-hmm. So you'll have to give me some tips. But I do love not having to buy like vegetables in the summertime. That's amazing. And I want to be better at like canning stuff and like things like that. So I hopped on the sourdough trend, like everyone. I know. It's sitting in the fridge right now. I've neglected her and she needs some love to come back to life. But yeah, definitely hopped on the sourdough trend with everyone else because, that's a really millennial thing to do. So hopping on that train. So yeah, I don't know. Those are kind of can you call those hobbies? I don't know. Yeah. Things that I do when I'm not working.
Yeah. I forgot to mention one of mine, which I don't know if it's really a hobby. It's just an obsession. Halloween.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you haven't thrown a summer ween party because I see those all over.
Girl, I've been thinking about it. But then I also still have to throw my Halloween party. And if my husband knew how much I spent on that, I hope he's not listening to this episode. He'd be like, and we need to stop.
No more Halloween parties. Yeah, we do both I throw a Skulloween party, which is the Vikings game closest to Halloween is like the Skulloween party. So usually Courtney has her Halloween party first and then I steal all her decorations.
That's the way it goes. Yeah. Cause I have a billion. I already bought a piece of Halloween decor.
Ooh, nice. Mm-hmm. Only one?
So far, only one, but trust me, I look every night online.
Yeah. I believe it. The outfit, the holiday outfits, How many 4th of July outfits do you have?
Can't even count. My suitcase. That's the best holiday to pack for. We always go back to the lake because I don't even have to think about it. I just take all my red, white, and blue gear, shove it in my suitcase, and I'm good. I don't have to plan my outfits. They're already done.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Psycho.
Some things never change like that. Some things. I don't think that will ever change.
No.
Just more heightens the obsession when you have a kid that you can buy multiple outfits for.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. She's going to grow up and be like, my mom is a little crazy. She loves the 4th of July and Halloween.
Goodness. What else? Is there anything else? I guess, we'll just say we're open books always. Like you get little sprinkles of our life. Maybe this is not an episode you ever cared to learn about, but here you are in case you want to know a little bit more about us.
And if you ever have questions or you want to geek out about Halloween or about an
if there's a product out there Court needs to buy,
send them my way. Or if you want Abby to make you an Excel spreadsheet for your garden.
Actually, a little side biz.
I kind of want you to make one for mine, but then I will never know how to update it or tweak it or anything. So
I'll have to tweak it for you.
You will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah. We'll give you little glimpses of our life as we move forward. Maybe do this again after fall when, life is...
Things are different. Actually, they will be different for our
like next year, early next year. I don't know. We'll see.
And if you ever have questions or we didn't touch on something or you want us to elaborate on something more in our personal life, go ahead and ask us. Yeah. Like Abby said, we're open books.
We are open books. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, listening to All About Us.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.